Lizzo's been in the news for her backup dancer just saying she was making them do a bunch of things on the road, like sexual stuff and things like that. And my whole thing with this is, let me see. This story's changed so much. Grimes supports Lizzo. Really the thing is, basically a bunch of backup dancers that Lizzo had. They all was like they were making Lizzo was making them do sexual things. Oh, pretty sure with logic. She's basically saying there's a hostile work environment and these dancers they would go out and Lizzo would make them do like, I'm not gonna get into it, but just weird, not weird shit, but just stuff that some people might think is fun and other people might be uncomfortable doing, but you get caught up in what do you call it? Basically trying to satisfy your boss and not trying, if you've never been on the road before and all of a sudden you're on the tour with Lizzo and now you're partying with her, it's kind of hard to say no when they ask you to do stuff. But this goes back to, hold on, Lizzo, former dancers. So now there's 3 of them. Lizzo denied it. Use that shit. I've heard so many different stories about this. I'll put it like this. Me being on the road and having openers that have done shady shit to me, after you put money in their pocket, you give them jobs, you give them opportunities, and then they forget all that. And then when you're on the road with people, like Lizzo's on the road with her dancers, you're the boss, you are the CEO of the company, yet you're normally hanging out and partying with people, quote unquote, from the cubicles. So if this was entertainment's weird. Like, we're not a normal workplace. Like, you rarely see the CEO of a company always hanging out, partying, and every weekend hanging out with people, quote unquote, in the cubicles. But in entertainment, you do, because you got whoever the lead singers, whether it's Lizzo, whether it's Chris Brown, whether it's Drake. Usually when you're going out, a lot of times you are hanging out with the backup dancers, the band, and things like that. So you're hanging out with people that, if you was at a company, would be cubicle workers. And you got to be careful with that because, what you might think is normal, what you might think we do this all the time with me and my friends and crew, and we think it's fun, all of a sudden somebody speaks out and another person speaks out, and all of a sudden there's a quote-unquote hostile work environment. And then, okay, so this is what they say in sexual harassment. She created a hostile work environment, engaged in sexual harassment, misconduct by her production company, Big Girl Touring, and her dance team. Okay. Among the claims included in the suit is Lizzo pressured dancers into unwanted sexual situations, made statements that were perceived as thinly veiled comments about a dancer's weight gain, and put people through grueling rehearsals that led to one dancer soiling herself. Like I said, you have to be careful when you're partying with people in the cubicles. Because what I'm getting out of this is basically people making comments about somebody's weight, talking shit, and you usually do that when you're comfortable enough. You feel like people can take it. And then I'm also getting out of this. I've heard about this sexual allegations, but I'm not gonna go into specifics because I don't know if they're true or not. But if you're out at a strip club, or things of that nature, you might ask somebody to do something, and then you got a bunch of people going, go, almost like chucking a beer, go, 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 go. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then, and now you're going to go after her. So that's what I think this comes down to is like, you got to be careful you got to be careful who you're around, and you let people into your circle. I'll just put it like this. I had an incident, probably about 3 months ago after my show. This guy came to my show and we was trying to get something to eat. And I know some of you are going to roll your eyes, but strip clubs have some of the best food. and especially late at night on a Sunday after my show, this particular strip club had a steakhouse. So literally, and I told the guy, I said, look, I want to go eat. I don't want no lap dances. I don't want dancers coming over to me. He says, yeah, there's a restaurant. And the guy said he was a manager there. Come to find out he was a floor manager. So he just basically runs the floor in the middle of the day. And he sat down with us, and the dude just would not shut up. He just kept talking and talking. And somewhat cool, but at one point I was like, dude, I just want to eat. I want to relax. And then I came there with two of my buddies, and one of my buddies asked the GM, hey, man, we'd like to just eat alone. And so he called the guy that got us in, and the guy was at my show, and he called him over there, and the guy came back, and he was like, why the fuck would you tell him I'm bothering you? Why would you say it to my face? And then it just got tense, and we were all like, yo, man, just relax. And that's when one of my guys was like, Gary, you ain't got to hear from me, but you got to be careful who you let into your circle. And that's what happened that night. We let an outsider into our circle. He doesn't know that I'm an extrovert introvert. I'm an introvert, but obviously I'm a comedian, so I got to be somewhat of an extrovert. But I've always said, I made a joke about it, I don't need bottle service, and if I do get a bottle at a club, I don't need the sparklers. I don't need my name in lights. I don't need to announce I'm in a venue. When I went there to this strip club, I didn't want to be pranced around. I just wanted to grab some food, and that was it. And this guy got all tense because he just was he was just quote unquote doing too much. And then luckily everything calmed down, and I just finally pulled him aside, and my buddy pulled aside. Look, man, we're chill. We don't need all this, and you're asking me just I felt like I was getting asked an interview about my career and my life, and I was like, dude, we're just trying to eat and relax and decompress from the weekend. So, that's what Lizzo's going to learn is just got to be careful who you let into your circle and who you're partying with. Like I said, it goes back to can't be partying with people in the cubicles like that all the time. You got to be very careful because this ain't. I've seen this numerous times, so many times. Look at the Kevin Hart situation from years ago when his boy was the one that set up that whole deal in Vegas, and you see it too many times. People, you let them into your world, and they want to be them dancers want to be Lizzo. Like there's people that are on the road and they want to be the headliner, and then animosity kicks in, and then they just look for any kind of opportune thing to take you down or to get in your pockets any kind of way. So, yeah, I would pour my support to Lizzo on this, just because everything I'm reading doesn't sound like it's a hostile work environment. I mean, Lizzo's a heavy-set woman that is proud of it, and she kind of throws her weight in people's face. Like, yeah, I'm heavy, but I'm still gonna wear, half tops and not a lot of clothes and show my sexuality and embrace it. And you can talk shit about me. She seems like a type that can take it, and so I would think if you're on the road with Lizzo, there's going to be weight jokes. And I don't know her personally, but I feel like she could take it, but she's also dishing it out. She's got big girl dancers. I mean, you're big. You have to that's the thing. Why do people take offense when somebody tells the truth about you? That's what I don't get. I'm sorry, that was rude. Somebody says something to me about me, I'm like, yeah. Somebody came up to me about a couple months ago and hadn't seen me in 10 years, and they said that you look a little older. And I went, hey, thanks, asshole. I didn't get mad at him. I didn't go off on him. I was like, well, it has been 10 years since I've seen you. Yeah, I should look a little older. I'm not going to look younger. But I didn't get mad at him. Honestly, they didn't have to say that. We know that. But I was thinking, you look older. You're 10 years older too. But I just think you just got to be careful who you go on the road with and who you party with and stuff.